Hey everybody, okay, gonna bring you in on this one here. It's a 2006 Pontiac G6. Customer's complaint: when you turn the wheel, and I'll try to get this on there, I don't think I'm gonna be able to show it, you get a terrible vibration only to the right, nothing at all to the left. Nice and smooth to the left, but to the right, let's see if I can mark something out like this. And that vibration is the car, not me. I don't know how that's going to work out, but at least that way we can try to show you, because you can't always feel these things. But we're going to hook up a scan tool and see what we got. Alright, so this is the part where everybody says, well, why did he grab a scanner? It's electric power steering. Let's pull up our car real quick here. 2006 passenger Pontiac. These are Z's. I'm going to go right into steering, power steering system. And let's shoot right into our data stream first. And let's look for anything at all that seems a little bit out of whack. I have to move you down here while I do this. Try to keep you in focus best I can. I'm going to turn the wheel to the right, which is where we felt the jump. Okay. Switch hands here. Okay, I'm seeing something there that I don't really like. And although it's minute, if you watch that steering torque sensor, let me go back to the right again. The other one is staying pretty linear, I guess would be the word. Well, not always. There we go. If I hold it right here, it's actually jumping all around. Bad boy's like a bucking bronco over here. Got some kick to it. Alright, steering wheel position isn't jumping around, but that torque sensor definitely is. Alright, I think we're going to be looking at the torque sensor. Let's just check to see if we got any codes in here. Alright, well, there was no light on and the customer didn't complain of any light, but here we are. Alright, I guess I was going in the right direction. Alright, I think what we're going to do here is try to get some graphing. See if I'm right about what I'm looking at here. Go in here and select the items. Move this thing back up where we can see it a little bit better without a glare. Alright, we're going to select what we want to see. Let's go down here, torque signal 1, torque signal 2, we'll accept those. And let's put them into a live plot. 1023, well, we weren't anywhere near that, and I don't think we're going to see 1023 volts. Don't know why it does that sometimes, but that's GM for you. We're gonna do a quick learn all so we can let it learn its highest and lowest points. So we'll jerk this wheel back and forth a little bit here so we can find its maximum torque spots. Hit done. And we'll exit back out, and now our scale over there on the left hand side looks a little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to turn this wheel slightly to the right. There you go. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit here. Let's see if I can zoom this whole plot in a little bit. That's to the left. Nice and linear. And that's to the right. Let's see if I go a little bit faster than that. Just looking, there we go, right there. Alright, so here's what I'm looking at. Everything here should be a mirror image of one another. This dropout right here, with the two peaks, I don't see that reflected on the other torque signal. So torque signal 2 doesn't reflect what torque signal 1 is doing. I think our problem is going to be right here on this one. If our torque signal is jumping around, then we're going to have an issue. It's going to start doing that jagged bucking back and forth exactly like it's doing here, because it thinks we're on torque, off torque, on torque, off torque. Yeah, those are definitely not symmetrical. Alright, I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to get down there and get a wiring diagram up and see where these go. Find our torque signal, and we'll start taking it from there. Okay, got our wiring diagram up here for the power steering control module. And looking at this very quickly here, it appears our torque position sensor is part of the steering column assembly. Okay, here's our diagram here. We have our steering shaft torque signal 1 and torque signal 2, dark blue and purple. Looks like that should be easiest probably to get to right down to the steering column assembly itself. So what I'm going to look for here is what does it have in common. So back that out a little bit there. Our 5-volt reference coming down here is going to be shared also to our steering position sensor. We didn't see anything at all happening with the steering wheel position sensor. There was no activity there. Everything seemed to be real steady on that end. We have the same ground here. Our low reference is also going to be shared going across to each one of the torque signals and for the steering wheel position sensor signal. So if our 5-volt and our reference are both there, then pretty much if we have any kind of a dropout in here, it's only going to be directly on that one line, either signal 1 or signal 2. I'm pretty sure it's going to be signal 1 by how choppy it was, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to go right down there. We're going to shoot down there for that dark blue and the purple wire. Be right back. Okay, let you guys see where I'm at. Here is where I'm tied in. Yes, I'm using piercing probes. I have to get over it. It's inside the car and the wires were just barely pierced, and they will be sealed up afterwards. Alright, we are at the base of the steering column, at the steering column module itself, where the two wires come in. We have our we have a dark blue and a purple both tagged into, and we're going to hook that up onto a lab scope in a second. But while I was under here, and I'll see if I can angle you guys up there so you can see it, this is a new steering column. Someone's already replaced the motor in there, and if you remember, we just said that the steering column is part of, or the torque sensor I should say, is part of the steering column motor. So this has already been replaced. That makes life a little bit more interesting. And yes, I see all the aftermarket junk in here. I have nothing to do with that. Half of it's all disconnected, and unless the customer wants to pay for that separately, I'm not going to be touching that. I'm sorry for the camera turning around, guys. I don't know how else to get you in there so you can see it. Alright, let me get the scope hooked up and we'll take a quick peek. Okay, lab scope is hooked up. We got channel A, the yellow, is tied into... what did I tie that into? That's into the purple wire. And then our green is going to be tied into our dark blue. So key is on right now. I'm going to turn this wheel back and forth very so slightly. This is to the left, nice and linear, and that's to the right. Alright. Now, don't need to go much further here. Unless the wire is rubbing, which I'm pretty darn sure it's not, just by the fact that it's inside a big plastic loom, and I'll take a look again just to be 100% sure, but it would appear that that one signal there is dropping out. Now that was our dark blue, which, if we go back over here to our diagram, that was, let's see, signal number 1. Purple was signal number 2. So, kind of what we thought we saw there, where it was jumping all around. If we go back there and I move it again, that's pretty darn consistent. One thing I want to check is, let me give it a little tap on the wheel here just to make sure. Okay, no, it's not vibration related. You can see that that mirrors itself. Don't see any real big differences there. A couple little small ones, But then again, though, as I'm tapping it, it is moving the wheel ever so slightly, and it doesn't seem to take very much to make that thing drop out. If I show you how far I'm moving it, that's the whole distance right there. And when I do that, I'll show you, try to get them both in the picture here, but if I move it that much, that's when we lose it. Now, the customer's big complaint with this was that he was losing the power steering. That's what he tells me now. So he's losing power steering. Well, if you actually go back there and review the video a little bit, because I've already disconnected the scan tool, but if you review it a little bit, I'm sure you'll see that the amperage will probably be jumping around at the same time as that thing was sitting there doing its big shudder. So if it continuously sits there and goes into a high amperage condition, thinking that I'm making a more aggressive turn of the steering wheel, and that torque is being applied a little bit faster or taken away a little bit faster, then what's going to happen is it's going to end up overheating the motor. These motors will overheat and shut down. Alright, I think we have pretty much everything there. I'm just going to go underneath and make sure that there's no damage at all to the wiring. And as long as there's no damage to the wiring, then unfortunately we have another case of NEW parts, which is never ever works, or you can call it new, but a new power steering control module, or a new power steering control motor I should say, that's unfortunately no good. It has a bad torque sensor, cannot be replaced separately. Alright, let me go down there and go take a look. Okay, I've already gone down here and looked around. There is no spot at all where the harness is rubbing, and I'll zoom it in a little bit here, hopefully keep it in focus. That gray loom right there is actually part of the wire harness here that we're actually tied into. So it comes out in that big gray loom, it's insulated, it's protected. It's not anywhere near any moving parts. If I zoom me back out, our only real moving parts are down here at the bottom where the intermediate shaft begins. So nothing at all like that. Get you back out here. This car is going to end up getting another power steering control module under warranty, and hopefully everything works out well. I'll come back in here again and I will do the procedure for it for the torque calibration, steering angle sensor calibration, and so on, because there are a few things that you have to do after you put in any new steering column. Not even if you just do the module itself gets programmed separately, but there's calibrations though when you put in a new power steering motor, because they're not all exactly the same. Alright, well, thanks for coming along with me. I'm sorry that this one was short, but again, sometimes not all the cars require a lot of diagnosing. Have a good one.